Hey, dear friend. You found a quiet place to rest and dream. Tonight we'll drift alongside those who float among the stars, learning the gentle secrets of astronauts and the vast silence they call home. Let yourself settle now. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. The day has released you, and all that remains is this moment, this breath, this soft invitation to rest. You can close your eyes if you'd like, or let them rest gently on a point in the distance. Either way, you are safe here. You are held. And as we journey together through these quiet truths about the people who've touched the edge of space, you may find yourself drifting, floating, letting go. That's exactly as it should be. Take a slow breath in, hold it gently, and let it go, like releasing a balloon into a clear sky. Again, breathe in the calm. Breathe out the weight of the day. One more time. In, soft and easy. Out, long and slow. Beautiful. You're already beginning to float. Astronauts, those rare travelers who leave Earth behind, carry with them something remarkable. They carry the dreams of millions, yes, but also something simpler. They carry the same need for rest that you do, the same longing for peace, the same quiet heartbeat that reminds them, even hundreds of miles above the world, that they are alive and small and beautifully human. When an astronaut first arrives at the International Space Station, drifting through the hatch after hours in a cramped capsule, something extraordinary happens. Their body begins to forget which way is up. Without gravity's persistent pull, the inner ear, that delicate system of fluid and tiny crystals that usually tells you where the ground is, grows quiet and confused. For a few hours, sometimes a few days, astronauts experience what they call space adaptation syndrome. It's a gentle disorientation, a cosmic reminder that the rules have changed. Many feel nauseated, some feel dizzy, but most describe it as a strange kind of floating dream, where the body must learn a new language, one spoken in weightlessness and silence. Imagine that feeling now as you rest. Imagine your body growing lighter, the boundaries between you and the soft surface beneath you beginning to blur. You don't need to hold yourself up anymore. You can simply be held. In space, astronauts sleep in sleeping bags attached to the walls. There are no beds as we know them, because there is no up or down, no lying flat or standing tall. They zip themselves into fabric cocoons, sometimes with their arms floating free, sometimes tucked inside like birds folding their wings. Some astronauts have said that sleeping in space is the most restful sleep they've ever known, because the body releases every muscle it usually uses to fight gravity. No pressure on shoulders, no weight on hips, no need to turn from side to side to ease an aching back. Just floating. Just being. Just the gentle rhythm of breath in a quiet dark. You can feel that now, can't you? The way your body is beginning to release. One muscle at a time. Your shoulders softening. Your jaw unclenching. Your hands growing heavy and warm. There's nothing to hold on to. Nothing to carry. The universe is doing the work for you. Astronauts often describe something beautiful that happens when they close their eyes in orbit. They see flashes of light. These aren't dreams, not yet. They're cosmic rays, tiny particles from distant stars and ancient supernovae, passing through the spacecraft, through the walls, through the astronauts' closed eyelids, and striking the optic nerve. Each flash is a visitor from the deep universe, saying hello in the only way it knows how. These lights have been traveling for millions of years, crossing impossible distances, and they arrive just in time to dance across the darkness behind an astronaut's resting eyes. Picture those lights now, gentle and far away, like stars reflected in still water. They're not here to disturb you. They're here to remind you that even in darkness, even in rest, the universe is alive and moving, and you are part of it. The first American woman in space, Sally Ride, once spoke about the view from orbit with such tenderness. She said the Earth looked like a beautiful, fragile ornament hanging in the blackness, But what many people don't know is how she described sleep in space. She said it felt like floating on a cloud made of nothing and everything at once. She said the absence of weight was so complete that she sometimes forgot she had a body at all, until she took a breath and felt her lungs expand like gentle balloons. Your breath is doing that now, expanding softly, filling you with calm, and when you exhale, you're releasing everything you don't need. All the tension, all the worry, all the noise. Out it goes, like air from a balloon, leaving you lighter. Astronauts aboard the space station experience 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every single day. The station orbits Earth once every 90 minutes, which means that day and night come rushing past in a rhythm that has nothing to do with human time. To help their bodies remember when to sleep, astronauts follow a schedule, dimming lights at the same time each cycle, even as the sun blazes outside their windows every 45 minutes. They train themselves to rest even when the world outside is bright, because they understand something important. Sleep isn't about darkness. Sleep is about permission. Permission to stop. Permission to let go. Permission to trust that the world will keep turning without your watchful eye. You have that permission now. You don't need to keep watch. You don't need to stay alert. Everything that needs to happen will happen, with or without your attention. You can rest. Chris Hadfield, the astronaut who sang David Bowie's Space Oddity from orbit, once described the smell of space. When astronauts return from a spacewalk and remove their helmets inside the airlock, a scent clings to their suits. It's hard to describe, Hadfield said, but most astronauts agree it smells like seared steak, hot metal, and something sweet like raspberries or rum. It's the smell of the universe itself, the scent of stars and radiation and the solar wind. Scientists believe it comes from dying stars, the same ones that created the iron in our blood and the calcium in our bones. When astronauts smell space, they're smelling their own ancient origins. How comforting to know that even in the strange and foreign dark, there's a scent of home. There's a connection. You are made of stardust, and so is everything around you. The pillow beneath your head, the air in your lungs, the quiet thought drifting through your mind, all of it, born in stars. One of the most tender traditions among astronauts is the way they say goodnight. On the International Space Station, crew members from different countries, speaking different languages, often gather before sleep for a few quiet minutes. They share what they saw that day: a thunderstorm over the Amazon, the aurora shimmering green over Canada, the lights of Tokyo spreading like spilled jewels. Then they wish each other good rest in their own languages. Spokojnej noci, buenas noches, oyasumi nasai, good night. It's a small ritual, but it roots them. It reminds them that even though they're floating in the most isolated place humans have ever lived, they're not alone. You're not alone either. Even in the quiet of this moment, even in the privacy of your rest, you're connected to everyone who has ever looked up at the night sky and wondered. You're connected to every person who has ever needed to sleep, to dream, to let the day fall away. Astronauts lose bone density in space. Without gravity pressing down on their skeletons, their bones begin to soften, releasing calcium into the bloodstream. It's not painful. It's gradual and silent, a slow unwinding. To counter this, astronauts exercise for 2 hours every day, strapping themselves to treadmills and resistance machines, reminding their bones that they're still needed, still strong. But even with all that effort, they return to Earth a little lighter, a little more fragile, a little more humbled by what their bodies have given to touch the stars. There's something beautiful in that surrender, isn't there? The way the body adapts, changes, lets go of what it doesn't need in a new environment. Your body is doing that now too. It's adapting to rest. It's letting go of the tension it doesn't need. It's becoming softer, quieter, more open to sleep. Scott Kelly, who spent nearly a year in space, said that one of the hardest parts of his mission wasn't the isolation or the danger or the bland food. It was missing the rain. He missed the smell of rain on warm pavement. He missed the sound of it tapping on windows. He missed standing in it, feeling it cool his skin. In space, water behaves strangely. It clings to surfaces in wobbling spheres. It doesn't fall. It floats. And so, for a year, Kelly lived without the simple comfort of rain. But here tonight you can imagine it. You can hear it if you'd like, that soft patter, that gentle rhythm. Let it wash over you in your mind. Let it soothe you. Let it remind you of all the small, ordinary miracles you carry with you, even when you think you've forgotten them. In the 1960s, during the Apollo missions, astronauts traveled farther from Earth than any human had gone before. They left behind not just the planet, but the planet's protective magnetic field, venturing into deep space where radiation from the sun pours unfiltered through the void. And yet, when they closed their eyes to sleep, they reported the same flashes of light that astronauts see in low Earth orbit, the same cosmic visitors, the same ancient photons saying hello. One astronaut described it as the universe tucking him in, reminding him that even in the deepest dark, even in the most profound silence, he was seen, he was known, he was part of something vast and ongoing and beautiful. You are seen too, not by watching eyes, but by the gentle presence of existence itself. The air knows you're here, the night knows, the slow turning of the earth beneath you knows. You are held by the world, and the world is held by space, and space is held by time, and time is patient. Time is in no hurry. Neither are you. Astronauts have to relearn how to drink water in space. On Earth, gravity pulls liquid down your throat. In space, you have to create suction, drawing water toward you, almost like a long, slow kiss. Some astronauts say it's meditative, the way you have to focus on something so simple, something you've done thoughtlessly your whole life. They sip slowly from pouches with straws, savoring each drop, because nothing can be wasted and everything is precious. There's a lesson in that, a gentle one: slowness, savoring, paying attention to the small things. Your breath is a small thing, but it's keeping you alive. The softness of your pillow is a small thing, but it's cradling you. The darkness behind your eyelids is a small thing, but it's inviting you deeper into rest. When astronauts return to Earth after months in space, their bodies have forgotten weight. The first few days back, they drop things constantly. Coffee mugs, pens, toothbrushes. They let go, expecting objects to float, and instead they fall. It's disorienting and humbling and strangely funny. They have to relearn the most basic truth of living on Earth. What goes up must come down. But for a little while they exist between two worlds, still dreaming in weightlessness while their feet press into solid ground. You exist between two worlds now too. The waking world is behind you, fading like a distant shore. The world of sleep is ahead, soft and inviting. You're drifting between them, and that's a beautiful place to be. You don't have to choose yet. You can float here, suspended, safe. The spacesuits astronauts wear during spacewalks weigh about 300 pounds on Earth, but in space they weigh nothing. Still, they're bulky and stiff, and moving in them requires effort and patience. Astronauts train underwater for months to prepare, floating in enormous pools, learning how to move slowly, how to breathe calmly, how to conserve energy. Every motion is deliberate. Every breath is steady. Rush, and you exhaust yourself. Panic, and you lose your way. But move with calm intention, and you can float for hours dancing in the silence. That's what you're doing now. Moving with calm intention towards sleep. Not rushing, not forcing, just allowing, just breathing, just trusting. Peggy Whitson, who holds the American record for most time in space, once said that her favorite moments were the quiet ones, not the launches or the spacewalks or the experiments, though those were extraordinary. Her favorite moments were the 10 minutes before sleep, floating in her crew quarters, lights dimmed, Earth passing silently below, when she would close her eyes and simply feel grateful. Grateful for the improbability of it all. Grateful for the chance to rest after a long day's work. Grateful for the next breath and the next and the next. Gratitude is a soft place to land. What are you grateful for tonight? Maybe it's this moment of rest. Maybe it's the fact that you made it through the day. Maybe it's something smaller, quieter. The warmth of your blanket. The beating of your heart. The way your mind is beginning to slow. Thoughts drifting apart like clouds. In space, tears don't fall. Without gravity, they gather on the surface of the eye, forming a small, wobbling sphere until they grow large enough to break away and float. Astronauts have cried in space out of joy and sorrow and overwhelming awe, and they say it's a strange comfort to see your tears suspended in the air, visible proof of what you're feeling, lingering like a small, salty moon. Feelings don't need to be hidden. Sadness doesn't need to be rushed away. Even here, even now, if there's something tender in you, some small ache or worry, you can let it be. You can let it float. You don't have to carry it. You don't have to solve it. You can just notice it. The way an astronaut notices a tear drifting by, and then let your attention move on. Back to your breath, back to the gentle dark, back to rest. The International Space Station travels at about 17,500 miles per hour. At that speed, it circles the entire Earth in roughly 90 minutes. But inside, astronauts move slowly. They glide from module to module, pulling themselves along with their fingertips. They take their time. There's no need to hurry when you're already flying faster than a bullet. Speed and stillness can exist together. Your heart is beating. Your blood is flowing. Cells are dividing. Neurons are firing. Your lungs are drawing in air and releasing it. You are a symphony of motion, and yet here you are, perfectly still, resting, letting the world do its work without your interference. Astronauts often speak about something called the overview effect. It's a cognitive shift that happens when you see Earth from space for the first time. The borders between countries disappear. The conflicts and divisions that seem so enormous on the ground shrink to nothing. All that remains is a fragile blue sphere, wrapped in a thin veil of atmosphere, floating in an infinite dark. Astronauts describe feeling a profound sense of connection, not just to humanity, but to all life. Trees and whales and ants and rivers, everything, part of one delicate system. From up there, it's easy to see what matters. From up there, the noise falls away and only the essential remains. Love, breath, the shared fact of existence. You can feel that now, can't you? The way the small worries are fading. The way the arguments and to-do lists and unanswered questions are becoming less urgent. Up close, they seemed so important. But from a distance, from the perspective of rest, they're just small things. And they can wait. They'll still be there tomorrow. But tonight, you are here. You are breathing. You are enough. Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space, orbited the Earth for 108 minutes in 1961. He saw one sunrise, one sunset, and when he returned, he said something simple and true. He said, "I am an ordinary person who was given an extraordinary opportunity." He didn't claim to be special or brave or chosen. He was just a person who said yes to the sky. You are ordinary too, in the most beautiful way. You are made of the same elements as Gagarin, the same carbon and oxygen and hydrogen. You are subject to the same need for sleep, the same pull toward rest. And that's not a weakness. That's a shared humanity. That's proof that you belong here, in this moment. In this soft surrender. Mae Jemison, the first black woman in space, took a poster of dancer Judith Jamison with her into orbit. She wanted to bring art with her, to remind herself that space exploration isn't just about science and engineering. It's about beauty. It's about expression. It's about the full spectrum of what it means to be human. including the need to create, to feel, to dream. Dreams are waiting for you. Just beyond the edge of waking, they're gathering, preparing stories to show you, landscapes to walk you through, faces to smile at you. You don't have to go looking for them. They'll come to you. All you have to do is keep breathing, keep softening, keep letting go. Astronauts aboard the space station have a small window in their sleeping quarters, about the size of a dinner plate. Some cover it with a shade to block out the relentless cycle of sunrises. Others leave it open, wanting to see the Earth, even in sleep, even in dreams. They want to be reminded where they came from. They want to see home. Home is wherever you are resting. Home is this breath. Home is the quiet knowledge that you are safe, that you are allowed to stop, that you are held. During spacewalks, astronauts are tethered to the station by a thin cable. It's a safety measure, a lifeline, a promise that they won't drift away into the infinite. But the cable is slack. It allows freedom. It allows movement. It's there, just in case. A gentle reassurance that they are connected, even when they feel most alone. You are tethered to your breath, to your body, to the present moment. You can float as far into relaxation as you'd like, and you won't drift away. You won't be lost. You'll always be able to find your way back, whenever you're ready. But for now, there's no need to come back. For now, you can drift. The silence in space is absolute. There is no air to carry sound, no wind to whisper, no birds to sing. When astronauts are on a spacewalk, the only sounds they hear are their own breathing, the hum of the suit's life support system, and occasionally, the voice of mission control crackling through the radio. Some find it eerie, others find it profoundly peaceful. One astronaut described it as finally, after a lifetime of noise, hearing clearly. What would it be like to hear nothing but your own breath? You're close to that now. External sounds are fading, thoughts are slowing. All that remains is the gentle rhythm of air moving in and out of your lungs. In, out, like waves on a shore, like the pulse of stars. Astronauts often experience something strange when they return to Earth. For weeks, sometimes months, they'll be walking and suddenly stop, wanting to float. They'll reach for something on a high shelf and expect their body to drift upward. They'll lie down in bed and feel oddly heavy, pressed into the mattress by a force they'd forgotten. Gravity, that old companion, feels new again. Oppressive at first, then comforting. A reminder that they're home. Your body knows what it needs. It knows when to move and when to rest. It knows when to hold on and when to let go. Trust it. Trust the way it's sinking now, growing heavier, settling into stillness. This is your body remembering how to rest. This is your body coming home. The food astronauts eat in space is carefully prepared, vacuum sealed, and often rehydrated with warm water. It's not gourmet, it's not fresh. But astronauts have said that after weeks of packaged meals, the simplest things become extraordinary. A tortilla, a packet of honey, a piece of chocolate. They eat slowly, savoring every bite, because there's no abundance in space, there's only enough. And enough, it turns out, is plenty. You have enough right now. Enough air, enough warmth, enough safety, enough space to rest. You don't need more than this moment. This moment is complete. In 1971, astronaut Alan Shepard smuggled a golf club and 2 golf balls onto Apollo 14. On the surface of the moon, wearing a bulky spacesuit, he took a swing. The first ball, he shanked. The second, he hit cleanly, and it soared in the moon's low gravity, traveling for what Shepard estimated as miles and miles, though later analysis suggests it was more like 200 yards. Still, it flew farther than any golf ball on Earth ever could, sailing over gray dust and ancient craters, a small act of play in the most serious place humans had ever been. Even in the vastness, even in the unknown, there's room for lightness. There's room for a smile. There's room for the small joys, the tiny rebellions, the moments that remind us we're alive. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you can carry that with you. A lightness, a sense of play, the knowledge that rest is not a duty, but a gift. Astronauts train in a massive pool called the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory. It holds over 6 million gallons of water, and submerged within it is a full-scale model of parts of the International Space Station. For every hour of spacewalk, astronauts train for 7 hours underwater, moving in slow motion, breathing steadily, learning patience. The water holds them, neither pulling them down nor letting them float away. Neutral buoyancy. Suspended, balanced. That's where you are now. Suspended between waking and sleep. Balanced. Held. You don't have to do anything to maintain this state. It's maintaining you. When astronauts look at the stars from space, they don't twinkle. On Earth, starlight passes through layers of atmosphere, bending and shifting, creating that familiar shimmer. But in space, stars are steady, unwavering points of light. They burn with a constancy that's both beautiful and humbling. They've been burning for millions of years. They'll burn for millions more. And for this one brief moment, an astronaut floats among them, sharing their silence. You share their silence now. You are as old as the atoms within you, forged in stars billions of years ago. You are as young as this breath, this heartbeat, this present moment. You are ancient and new, all at once. And you are resting, finally resting. Astronauts aboard the space station celebrate holidays, even though the calendar means little when you orbit Earth 16 times a day. They put up decorations. They share meals from pouches. They call their families on video links, watching their children grow in small jumps, weeks passing between calls. It's hard being so far away. It's lonely, but they say the distance makes the love feel more intense, more precious. Every call is a gift. Every smile on a screen is a reminder of what they're working for, what they'll return to. Love doesn't diminish with distance. It stretches, but it doesn't break. And the people who love you, wherever they are, want you to rest. They want you to be well. They want you to sleep deeply and wake refreshed. Even if they're not here to say it, even if you can't hear their voices, their care surrounds you like atmosphere. The spacesuits astronauts wear have a small pouch of water built into the chest, with a tube that reaches up to the helmet. They can sip from it at any time, staying hydrated during long spacewalks. But they have to be careful. Drink too much, and there's no bathroom in a spacesuit. They wear what's essentially a high-tech diaper, and though it's practical, it's also humbling. Even the most trained, most accomplished people in the world still have bodies with basic needs, still have limits, still have to accept help even from a piece of absorbent padding. There's no shame in needing support. There's no weakness in acknowledging limits. Your body has carried you through this entire day, and now it's asking for rest. That's not failure. That's wisdom. Some astronauts have said that the hardest part of a mission isn't the launch or the landing. It's the middle, the long stretch of days that blend together, when the novelty has worn off and the work becomes routine. When the view, as spectacular as it is, starts to feel familiar. When homesickness settles in, not sharp, but dull and persistent. That's when they have to dig deep, reminding themselves why they're there, what they're part of, how rare and precious this experience is. You're in the middle of your day too, in a sense, the middle of a life made of days. And sometimes it feels routine. Sometimes it's hard to remember why you keep going. But you do. You keep breathing. You keep showing up. And tonight, you've made it here, to this moment of rest, and that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. Astronauts on the Apollo missions took thousands of photographs of Earth, but one stands out: Earthrise. Taken by William Anders on Christmas Eve 1968, it shows the Earth rising above the moon's horizon, a brilliant blue and white marble against the black. Anders later said he thought they had come to explore the moon, but what they really discovered was Earth. They discovered how small it is, how beautiful, how alone in the dark. You are not alone, even though it sometimes feels that way. You are part of that blue marble. You are part of the story that Anders photographed. You are part of the ongoing experiment of life, of consciousness, of beings that can look at stars and wonder, that can feel tired and choose to rest. In the early days of spaceflight, scientists weren't sure if humans could sleep in space. They worried that without the cues of gravity, without the feeling of lying down, the brain would refuse to surrender to sleep. But the first astronauts proved them wrong. They slept. They slept deeply, despite the noise of machinery, despite the strangeness, despite the fact that they were hurtling through the void at impossible speeds. The body knows how to rest. It always has. Your body knows. It's already preparing. Your heart rate is slowing. Your muscles are releasing. Your thoughts are becoming less linear, more dreamy. Images floating up and fading away. This is the beginning. This is the threshold. You're almost there. Astronauts sometimes talk about missing the seasons. In space, there's no spring, no fall, no first snow or first warm day. There's only the endless cycle of light and dark, repeating every 45 minutes. But they remember. They remember the smell of leaves in October. They remember the sound of cicadas in July. They remember the way the air feels different in April, full of potential and rain. What do you remember? What season lives in your heart right now? Maybe it's the comfort of winter, blankets and quiet and early darkness. Maybe it's the ease of summer, long days and warm nights. Whatever it is, you can rest in it. You can let it hold you. There's a tradition among astronauts to give each other small gifts on long missions. A favorite candy bar, a photograph, a handwritten note. They're tokens, reminders that even in isolation, even in the most extreme environment humans have ever inhabited, kindness matters. Connection matters. The small gestures that say, I see you, I'm glad you're here. You are seen, not by judgment, but by the gentle awareness of the universe itself. You are here, in this moment, and that is a kind of miracle. The odds against your existence are astronomical, and yet here you are, breathing, resting, allowing yourself this tenderness. When astronauts return from space, they go through weeks of rehabilitation. Their bodies have to relearn how to support their own weight. Their hearts have to adjust to pumping blood against gravity again. It's uncomfortable. It's exhausting. But slowly, they adapt. Slowly, they remember what it means to walk on solid ground. You will walk on solid ground tomorrow. You will wake and rise and face the day. But that's tomorrow. Tonight you are here. Tonight you are weightless. Tonight you are floating. One astronaut described watching a storm from space. It was a hurricane, massive and powerful, spinning over the ocean. From the space station, it looked almost peaceful. A perfect spiral of white clouds. No sound, no wind. Just the slow, graceful rotation, beautiful and terrifying at once. He said it reminded him that perspective changes everything. What seems chaotic up close can reveal its pattern from a distance. Your life has a pattern too. You can't always see it from where you are, caught up in the day-to-day, but it's there. A rhythm, a shape, a meaning. And right now, in this moment, the pattern is simple. Rest, breathe, let go. Astronauts have to exercise in space, but they also have to schedule time to look out the window. It's written into their daily routines. Time to stop working, to stop moving, to simply watch the Earth pass below. Because even though they're living in the most advanced laboratory humans have ever built, even though they're conducting experiments that will benefit millions, they still need beauty. They still need moments of wonder. They still need to remember why it matters. You need those moments too, and this is one of them. This quiet time, this pause, this breath, it matters. You matter. The International Space Station has been continuously inhabited since the year 2000. That means for over 2 decades there has not been a single moment when all of humanity was on Earth. At every second, day and night, there are people floating above us, looking down, keeping watch. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? We are never alone. Someone is always awake even when we sleep. But you don't need to keep watch tonight. Someone else is doing that. The world will turn. The station will orbit. Your loved ones will breathe in their sleep. You can close your eyes. You can drift. You can trust. Before astronauts launch, they spend time in quarantine, isolated from family and friends to avoid getting sick. The last people they see before the rocket are the crew members who will travel with them. They eat together. They talk. They grow quiet together, each processing what's about to happen in their own way. And then, in the hours before launch, they help each other into their suits, checking seals and straps, offering reassurance. You're ready. You're going to be fine. I'm right here with you. Who has helped you into your metaphorical suit? Who has checked your seals, made sure you're ready, reminded you that you're not alone? Maybe it's a friend, a family member, a partner. Maybe it's a stranger who smiled at you once, years ago, at just the right moment. Maybe it's your own past self, younger and more hopeful, whispering across time, "You're going to make it. You're going to be okay. You are okay. Right now in this moment, you are okay." Astronauts practice something called contingency training. They prepare for everything that could go wrong: fire, decompression, equipment failure, medical emergencies. They run through scenarios over and over until their responses become automatic. But they also know that despite all the preparation, despite all the planning, there will be moments of uncertainty, moments when they have to improvise, moments when they have to trust their instincts and each other. Life is like that too. You can prepare, you can plan, but there will always be uncertainty. And in those moments, all you can do is breathe, trust, and take the next small step. Tonight, the next small step is simple. Close your eyes, soften your breath. Let sleep come to you like an old friend, familiar and kind. The first American spacewalk almost ended in tragedy. Ed White, floating outside his capsule in 1965, enjoyed it so much that he didn't want to come back in. Mission Control had to order him repeatedly to return. Finally, reluctantly, he did. He later said it was the saddest moment of his life, leaving that infinite freedom, that perfect silence, and climbing back into the cramped capsule. But he did. He came back. Because even the most beautiful experiences have to end. Even the most profound moments must be released. And that's okay. That's part of the rhythm. There will be other moments, other silences, other chances to float, but for now you're here. And soon, you'll be in sleep. And that's its own kind of spacewalk, its own kind of freedom. Astronauts say that one of the strangest things about returning to Earth is remembering that things fall. For months, they've lived in a world where objects stay where you put them. A pen floats in midair. A water droplet hangs suspended. But on Earth, everything falls. Leaves, rain, the sun setting below the horizon. It's the natural order, the way of things. You can fall now too. Not in fear, but in surrender. You can fall into sleep the way leaves fall from trees in autumn. Letting go not because they're weak, but because it's time, because the season has changed, because holding on would take more energy than they have. Let go, fall gently, the ground will catch you, sleep will catch you. You are safe, in space. Muscles atrophy quickly without use. Astronauts can lose up to 20% of their muscle mass in just a few weeks. That's why they exercise so rigorously, fighting to keep their bodies strong in an environment that doesn't require strength. But there's something poignant about it. The way the body immediately begins to adapt, to become what the environment asks it to be. Lighter, softer, less solid. Your body is adapting now too. It's becoming softer, less solid, more open to rest. Your bones are heavy against the mattress. Your skin is warm beneath the blanket. Your breath is slow and deep. You are becoming what this moment asks you to be: restful, peaceful, still. The longest single spaceflight by an American is 437 days, achieved by Frank Rubio. More than a year in orbit. More than a year of sunrises every 45 minutes. More than a year of floating. When he returned, reporters asked what he missed most. He said it wasn't a specific food or a specific place. It was the feeling of sitting still, of weight, of knowing that if he put something down, it would stay down. He missed the simple reliability of gravity, the way it holds everything in place. You are held in place now, by the mattress beneath you, by the blanket over you, by the gentle, invisible force that keeps you grounded even as your mind begins to float. This is the gift of gravity. This is the gift of Earth. You don't have to work to stay here. You just are. Astronauts often form deep bonds with their crewmates. Living in close quarters, depending on each other for survival, they develop a kind of intimacy that's rare on Earth. They learn each other's rhythms. They know when someone needs space and when they need company. They communicate in glances and small gestures. One astronaut described it as a silent choreography, everyone moving in harmony, even without speaking. There's a choreography to sleep too. Your body knows the steps. Your mind knows when to stop leading and start following. Your breath knows how to slow. Your heart knows how to quiet. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to force it. You just have to let the dance unfold. During the Apollo missions, astronauts traveled through the Van Allen radiation belts, two zones of intense radiation trapped by Earth's magnetic field. They passed through quickly, protected by their spacecraft, but they could feel it, a strange tingling, a sense of energy moving through them. Some described it as eerie, others found it exhilarating. They were passing through a barrier, leaving one realm and entering another. You're passing through a barrier too, the barrier between waking and sleeping. It's thin now, permeable. You're halfway through. Soon you'll be on the other side, in the realm of dreams, where the rules are different and anything is possible. Astronauts aboard the space station have a small collection of books floating in the common area. They're held in place by elastic straps, but crew members can pull them free and read in their sleeping quarters. Some are technical manuals. Others are novels, poetry, books about history or philosophy. One astronaut said that reading in space felt different somehow. The words seemed to matter more. Each sentence carried weight, even though everything around her was weightless. Words matter. The words you tell yourself matter most of all. So tonight, tell yourself kind words. Tell yourself, I did enough today. I am allowed to rest. I deserve peace. I am safe. I'm held. I'm loved. Even if you don't fully believe them yet, say them anyway. Let them float in your mind like books in a space station, waiting for you to reach for them. In 1984, astronaut Bruce McCandless performed the first untethered spacewalk. He floated away from the shuttle, propelled by a small jetpack, becoming the first human to float freely in space with no physical connection to a spacecraft. The photographs show him as a tiny white figure against the black void, alone in a way no one had ever been alone before. He later said it wasn't frightening, it was peaceful. He trusted the jetpack. He trusted his training. He trusted that he could find his way back. You can float freely too. You can drift as far into relaxation as you want. You're not tethered to your worries. You're not connected to your to-do list. You're free. And when you're ready, when morning comes, you'll find your way back. But for now, float. For now, be untethered. Astronauts have described watching cities at night from space. The lights form patterns, rivers of gold and white tracing highways and coastlines. Some cities glow steady and bright, others pulse and flicker. But what strikes astronauts most is the darkness between the lights, the vast stretches of empty land and ocean, reminding them how much of Earth is still wild, still untouched, still dreaming its own dreams. There's darkness in you too, and that's not a bad thing. Not everything needs to be illuminated. Not every thought needs to be examined. Not every feeling needs to be understood. Some things can just exist in the quiet dark, resting, waiting, being. The first meal eaten in space was pureed applesauce, squeezed from a tube by John Glenn in 1962. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't delicious. But it proved that humans could eat in weightlessness, that the body could still swallow, still digest, still draw nourishment from food even when there was no up or down. It was a small triumph, but it mattered. It meant that humans could survive out there. They could adapt. You are adaptive too. You've survived every difficult day you've ever had. You've adapted to change, to loss, to disappointment, to joy. And tonight you're adapting again, letting your body shift from waking to sleeping, trusting that you know how to make that journey. Astronauts train in the desert, in the ocean, in caves, in isolation chambers. They learn to function in extreme environments, to stay calm when everything is unfamiliar. But one of the most important skills they learn is simpler than any of that. They learn to be comfortable with silence, to sit with their own thoughts, to be alone without being lonely. Silence is a companion tonight, not an absence, but a presence. The silence holds space for you. It gives you room to breathe, to be, to drift. You don't have to fill it. You don't have to fight it. You can rest in it like a hammock gently swaying. When astronauts are in the station's cupola, a 7-window observation module, they often lose track of time. They float there for hours, watching Earth turn beneath them, and it feels like minutes. Time becomes elastic, malleable, irrelevant. There's only the present moment, endlessly unfolding, endlessly beautiful. Time is elastic for you too. This moment is as long as it needs to be. You're not rushing toward tomorrow. You're not clinging to yesterday. You're here, suspended in now, and now is infinite. Astronauts sometimes see lightning storms from above, watching the flashes spread across the clouds like veins of light. They can't hear the thunder. They can't feel the wind. They just see the silent fireworks, nature's electricity dancing through the atmosphere. It's humbling, one astronaut said, to witness such power and know you're completely separate from it, protected by a thin shell of metal and technology. You're protected too, by walls and roof, by the social structures that keep you fed and safe, by the billions of years of evolution that gave you a body capable of healing itself while you sleep. You're held by so many invisible systems, all working without your awareness, all keeping you alive. In the early days of space exploration, there was genuine concern that astronauts might go insane, that the isolation, the danger, the sheer strangeness of being off Earth would break the human mind. But it didn't. Astronauts remained sane, functional, even joyful. They adapted. They found meaning. They looked at Earth and felt not disconnected, but more connected than ever. Your mind is stronger than you think. It has carried you through every challenge so far. It will carry you through whatever comes next. But tonight it doesn't have to be strong. Tonight, it can be soft. It can wander. It can let go of control and drift into dreams. Astronauts wear watches in space, even though time is measured by mission control and displayed on every computer screen. They wear them because it's comforting. A watch on your wrist is a small piece of normalcy, a connection to life on Earth, where meetings have start times and meals happen at regular hours. But many astronauts have said that after a few weeks in space, they stop looking at their watches. They stop caring what time it is. They move by feel, by intuition, by the rhythm of work and rest. You can stop caring what time it is too. It doesn't matter. Morning will come when it comes. For now, there's only this breath, this heartbeat, this gentle descent into sleep. One of the most dangerous moments in any space mission is re-entry. The spacecraft slams into Earth's atmosphere at thousands of miles per hour, generating temperatures hot enough to melt metal. The astronauts inside feel the deceleration like a weight on their chest, gravity returning all at once, pressing them into their seats. They can see flames outside the windows. They can feel the vehicle shaking, but they're trained for this. They know it's temporary. They know that if they just hold on, just trust the process, they'll make it through to the other side. Sometimes life feels like re-entry, heavy, hot, shaking, but you've made it through before. You'll make it through again. And right now you don't have to think about any of that. Right now you're not in the fire. You're in the cool dark. You're in the soft quiet. You're safe. After landing, astronauts are carried out of their capsules. They can't walk. Gravity is too much after months without it. But they're smiling. They made it. They survived. And slowly, over days and weeks, they'll regain their strength. They'll walk again. They'll run. They'll dance. The body remembers how. Your body remembers how to sleep. Even if it's been a hard day. Even if your mind has been racing. Even if you're worried you won't be able to. Your body knows. It's already started. Your eyelids are heavy. Your limbs are sinking. Your thoughts are losing their sharp edges, becoming soft and blurry. Astronauts bring personal items with them to space. A wedding ring, a photograph, a small stuffed animal for their child. These items don't serve a practical purpose. They don't help with experiments or repairs, but they're essential anyway. They're reminders. They're anchors. They're proof that even in the most extreme circumstances, love matters, memory matters, connection matters. What's your anchor tonight? What's the thing that reminds you you're loved, you're connected, you're part of something larger than yourself? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a place, maybe it's a memory, worn smooth by time, but still precious. Hold it gently in your mind. Let it comfort you. In space, every movement has a consequence. Push off from one wall and you float toward the opposite side. Drop something and it drifts. Spill water and it forms spheres that hover until someone catches them. Cause and effect are immediate, visible, undeniable. Astronauts learn to move deliberately, to think before acting, to accept responsibility for every motion. But here, tonight, there are no consequences to resting. There's no wrong way to do this. You can't fail at sleep. You can only allow it. You can only soften and sink and trust. Astronauts have a phrase they use, nominal. It means everything is going as planned. Systems are nominal. Orbit is nominal. The mission is nominal. It's a reassuring word, a way of saying that despite being in one of the most dangerous environments imaginable, everything is okay. Everything is as it should be. Tonight, you are nominal. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are breathing. Your body is resting. Everything is as it should be. There's nothing to fix, nothing to improve. You are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. When astronauts undock from the space station and begin their journey home, there's a moment of silence in the capsule. They're leaving. They're saying goodbye to the place that's been their entire world for months. Some cry, some laugh, some just stare out the window, watching the station grow smaller, a bright speck against the black until it disappears. You're saying goodbye too. Goodbye to the day. Goodbye to waking. Goodbye to the version of yourself that had to be alert, responsible, present. That version served you well, but now it's time to let it go. Now it's time to become the version of yourself that dreams. The last thing astronauts see before they fall asleep in space is often Earth. It's right there outside their window, turning slowly, a constant companion, blue and white and brown and green, wrapped in a thin atmosphere, fragile and fierce. Home. Even when they're far away, even when they're floating in the dark, they can see home. and that makes sleep easier. You can see home too if you close your eyes. Not the place you live, but the place you are, the here, the now, the soft space you've created for yourself, just for tonight. This is home, this breath, this moment, this rest. In the silence of space, astronauts sometimes sing, not loudly, not for an audience, just quiet songs, hummed under their breath while they work or drift before sleep. Lullabies, folk songs, pop tunes from their youth. The songs remind them of Earth, of humanity, of the fact that they're not just scientists or engineers or pilots. They're people, people who need beauty, people who need music, people who need to feel something. What song is in your heart tonight? What melody could carry you into sleep? You don't have to sing it. You don't even have to know the words. Just feel it. Let it hum in your chest like a tuning fork, vibrating at the frequency of peace. Astronauts learn to sleep in strange positions. Some float with their arms crossed over their chest like ancient pharaohs. Some spread their arms wide like flying. Some curl into balls, knees to chest, as if they're back in the womb. There's no right position. There's only what feels safe, what feels comfortable, what allows the body to let go. Find your position now. Maybe you're already there. Maybe you need to shift just a little, adjusting your pillow, pulling your blanket higher, turning onto your side. Move slowly, deliberately, and then, once you're there, once you've found that sweet spot, go still, completely still, and notice how good it feels to not have to move anymore. The view from space is often described as perspective changing, but it's not just the sight of Earth that changes astronauts. It's the experience of vulnerability, of being utterly dependent on technology, on teamwork, on a million things working correctly. It's humbling. One astronaut said that space doesn't make you feel powerful. It makes you feel grateful. Grateful for air, for warmth, for the people who keep you alive. Gratitude again. It keeps coming back, doesn't it? Because gratitude is a soft place to land. What are you grateful for in this very moment? The darkness that lets you rest, the quiet that surrounds you, the fact that your body knows what to do, even when your mind doesn't. Astronauts aboard the space station are never truly alone, but they carve out moments of solitude. They'll float to a corner, put on headphones, close their eyes. They'll take 10 minutes just to be with themselves, away from the crew, away from the constant hum of machinery. Those moments, they say, are essential. Not because they don't like their crewmates, but because solitude is a human need. Time to think, time to feel, time to just exist. You're in that moment now. This is your solitude, your sanctuary. No one is asking anything of you. No one needs you to be anything other than what you are. You can just exist. You can just breathe. You can just be. The International Space Station has been called the most expensive object ever built, costing over $100 billion. But ask any astronaut what it's worth and they won't talk about money. They'll talk about cooperation, about countries that disagree on Earth working together in space, about scientists sharing discoveries, about the hope that if we can build something this complex, this beautiful, this functional in the harshest environment imaginable, maybe we can solve our problems on Earth too. Hope is a quiet thing. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And tonight, it's whispering to you. Tomorrow will come. You'll wake. You'll have another chance, another day, another breath. But you don't have to think about that now. Now, you can rest in the possibility of hope without needing to define it or understand it. When astronauts train for emergency scenarios, they practice something called bold-face procedures. These are critical steps that must be memorized so thoroughly that they become automatic. Fire on board, bold face. Rapid decompression, bold face. The idea is that in a crisis, you don't have time to think. You just act, trusting your training, trusting your body's memory. Your body has bold face procedures too. When you're tired, it knows to yawn. When you're cold, it shivers. When it's time to sleep, it begins shutting down non-essential systems, redirecting energy to repair and restoration. You don't have to think about any of it. You just have to trust. One astronaut described the moment of liftoff as the loudest, most violent experience of his life. The rocket shook so hard he thought his teeth would rattle out. The acceleration pressed him into his seat with 3 times the force of gravity. But then, 9 minutes later, the engines cut off, and suddenly silence, weightlessness, peace. The violence was over, and the mission could begin. Sometimes you have to go through the loud part to get to the quiet. Sometimes you have to endure the shaking to reach the stillness. You've done that today. You've gone through the loud part, the shaking part, and now, here you are, in the silence, in the weightlessness, in the peace. Astronauts often describe their first view of Earth from space as a moment when language fails them. They search for words and can't find any that fit. Beautiful, one says, but that's not enough. Fragile, says another, but that doesn't capture it. Sacred, whispers a third, and maybe that's closest. A moment when you're confronted with something so profound that words dissolve, and all you can do is feel. You don't need words now either. You don't need to explain or describe or analyze. You can just feel. The softness of the pillow, the warmth of the blanket, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the way your mind is starting to drift, thoughts loosening from their moorings, floating free. In space, plants grow differently, without gravity to tell them which way is up. Their roots spread in all directions. Their stems curl in loops and spirals. But they still grow. They still reach for light. They still produce oxygen and food. They adapt to conditions that seem impossible, and they thrive. You're adapting too, to this moment, to this stillness, to the invitation to rest in a world that so often asks you to do, to produce, to achieve. But tonight, you're choosing differently. You're choosing to grow in the direction of rest. And that's a radical act. That's courage. Astronauts are asked over and over what they think about during the long, quiet hours in space. And many give the same answer. Nothing. They think about nothing. Or rather, they let thoughts come and go without grabbing onto them. They watch their mind the way they watch Earth, observing without judgment, allowing without interference. You can do that now. Thoughts will come. That's what minds do. But you don't have to engage with them. You don't have to solve them or follow them or argue with them. You can just watch them drift by like clouds, interesting shapes that form and dissolve and ultimately mean nothing. Before every spacewalk, astronauts spend hours breathing pure oxygen to flush nitrogen from their bloodstream. It's necessary to prevent decompression sickness when they enter the lower pressure of their spacesuits. So they sit, breathing deeply, preparing their bodies for what's to come. It's meditative, they say, calming, a forced pause before the intensity of a spacewalk. You're breathing too, not pure oxygen, but air, sweet and simple and free. Each breath is preparing you, flushing out the day's tension, making room for rest. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, again and again, as many times as you need. One of the most iconic images of space exploration is the footprint on the moon, Neil Armstrong's boot print, pressed into lunar dust where it will remain for millions of years because there's no wind to erase it. It's a mark of human presence, proof that we were there, that we reached out beyond our world and touched another. You leave marks too, not on the moon but on the people you meet, the kindness you show, the work you do, the love you give. You matter, you make a difference, and tonight, you can rest knowing that your presence in the world is enough. You are enough. Astronauts aboard the space station sometimes wake in the middle of their sleep period, disoriented. For a moment, they don't know where they are, but then they see the curve of Earth through the window, or they feel themselves floating, and they remember. They're in space, they're safe, they're exactly where they're supposed to be, and they close their eyes again and drift back to sleep. If you wake in the night, you don't have to panic. You don't have to start thinking about tomorrow. You can simply remember, you're here, you're safe, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you can close your eyes again and drift back to sleep. The final frontier, space has been called, but astronauts often say that the real frontier is internal. The challenge isn't the vacuum or the radiation or the isolation. The challenge is the mind, learning to stay calm, learning to work with others, learning to be away from everything familiar and still find peace. Your mind is the frontier tonight too, and you're exploring it gently, carefully, noticing where there's tension and breathing into it, noticing where there's resistance and softening around it. You're not fighting, you're not forcing, you're just exploring, with curiosity and kindness. When the Apollo astronauts returned from the moon, they were quarantined for 3 weeks. Scientists weren't sure if they'd brought back any lunar microbes, so they sat in isolation, looking out through glass at their families, so close and yet untouchable. It must have been agony to be back on Earth but not quite home. But they waited. They understood the need for caution. And when the quarantine ended, when they finally got to embrace their loved ones, it was worth the wait. Sometimes rest requires patience. Sometimes sleep doesn't come immediately, but it will come. It always does. And when it arrives, when you finally cross that threshold, it will be worth the wait. Astronauts describe seeing stars from space as drinking from a fire hose of light. Without atmosphere to block or dim them, stars are everywhere. Thousands upon thousands. So many that the familiar constellations get lost in the noise. It's overwhelming at first. Too much beauty, too much vastness. But after a while, it becomes comforting. A reminder that you're part of something unimaginably large and old and ongoing. Close your eyes and you can see stars too. Not real ones, but the small lights that appear behind your eyelids. Phosphonies, they're called. Tiny electrical signals in your visual cortex making patterns in the dark. Watch them for a moment. Let them be your stars. Let them guide you deeper into rest. The space station passes over most of Earth's populated areas every few days. If you're in the right place at the right time, you can see it. A bright dot moving steadily across the sky, faster than a plane, silent and purposeful. People stand in their yards and point. Children make wishes. And inside that bright dot, astronauts are working, eating, exercising, sleeping, living their lives in the sky. You're under the same sky, breathing the same air that cycles through the atmosphere and eventually makes its way even to the space station. You're connected to those astronauts, to everyone who's ever looked up and wondered. You're part of the same story, the story of beings who can contemplate the stars while also needing, simply and profoundly, to rest. And so we arrive, gently, at the end of our journey tonight. We've floated together through the lives of astronauts, those brave explorers who remind us what it means to be human in the vastness. We've learned that even in space, even hundreds of miles from Earth, people still need to sleep, still need to dream, still need quiet and dark, and the permission to let go. The universe is patient. The stars will wait. The Earth will keep turning. And you can sleep now. You can drift into that other place, that realm of dreams and darkness and deep, restorative rest. You've earned it. You deserve it. And it's here, waiting for you, as soft as earthshine, as gentle as zero gravity, as infinite as space itself. You have that permission now. You've always had it. This night is yours. This rest is yours. And as you drift now, deeper and deeper into sleep, know that you're held. By gravity, yes, but also by something larger. By the turning of Earth. By the slow dance of the solar system. By the ancient light of stars that will shine long after we're gone. Your breath is so slow now. so soft. Each exhale is a small surrender. Each inhale is barely necessary. You're right at the edge, that beautiful blurry place where waking ends and dreaming begins. And you can let yourself fall now. You can let yourself go. The universe is here to catch you. Sleep is here to hold you. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for allowing yourself this tenderness. The stars are watching over you. The earth is turning beneath you. And somewhere high above, astronauts are sleeping too, dreaming their own dreams, floating in their fabric cocoons at peace in the vastness. And so are you, at peace, floating, drifting, fading into the soft dark, where rest lives, where dreams wait, where you are safe and held and deeply, deeply loved. Good night, dear friend. Sleep well. The universe will be here when you wake, and so will I. For now, let your eyes stay closed. Let your body sink deeper. Let your mind grow quiet as space itself. And sleep. Just sleep. You've earned it. You deserve it. You are safe. Good night.